Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle something pretty fundamental. What if everything we've thought about, weight loss, the
Wow.
calories, the carbs, the sheer discipline, what if that's missing the real point?
That's a huge question, isn't it? Because this deep dive, it isn't really about the mechanics of, say, semaglutide, Ozempic, or Wegovy, as you might know them.
Right.
It's more about this surprising side effect, silence. We're looking at the insights of Dan Hollis, who really looks past the physical, deep into the emotional side of hunger.
Okay, so our mission here is to figure out why Dan Hollis talks about decoding emotional amnesia, not just selling weight loss plans. And what happens when food stops talking, as he says?
Yeah.
What's the thing that really grabs you about his core idea? It was never about the food.
It just stops you, doesn't it? Because we're so conditioned to think weight is purely physical, calories in, calories out.
Exactly.
But if it's not about the food, well, that opens up a whole different way of looking at things. Our struggles, our relationship with eating, it changes the game.
We usually think hunger is, simple. Stomach
Yeah.
rumbles, blood sugar dips. But Dan Hollis says it's layered, more complex.
He does. And his definition of emotional hunger is fascinating. He says, it sounds like a craving, but it's actually a question, a need asking to be seen.
A question.
Yeah. So, like, when you reach for that snack, maybe it's not fuel you need. Maybe your mind is asking, am I bored, lonely, anxious?
Or even happy, maybe. Like
That-
celebrating.
Exactly. All these emotions get tangled up with food, loneliness, stress, boredom, even joy. It becomes much more than just physical sustenance. It's complicated.
So how does a medication like semaglutide, which works on a physical level, fit into this emotional picture Hollis paints?
Okay, so semaglutide, technically it's a GLP-1 receptor agonist developed for diabetes, now big for weight loss. We know that part.
Or the cuddlings?
But Hollis sees it differently, not as a fix. He calls it a biological pause, or maybe a window.
A window.
Yeah, and here's the key insight. It's really powerful. Semaglutide gives you silence, and silence gives you truth.
Silence gives you truth. Wow. He says, you give you a moment where food stops talking. And for some people, that's the first honest moment they've had in 20 years. Just think about that. The mental quiet.
But that quiet, that's where the challenge often lies. It can be unsettling, even scary for some.
Why scary?
Well, think about it. If food was acting as your emotional scaffolding, comfort, distraction, a way to cope taking that away suddenly leaves you feeling kind of exposed.
Okay. Makes sense.
Hollis notes that people often relapse not into hunger, but into confusion.
Confusion. That really lands. It's
Yeah.
like you were leaning on something without realizing it, and suddenly it's just not there.
Exactly that. And he argues many people fail, not because the medication stops working, but because, well, no one taught them what to do with the quiet.
So just drift back.
They might reach for what's familiar, the cheese puffs, cheat days, chaos, as he puts it. It's not about weakness. It's about not having the tools for that new quiet space.
Okay, so Hollis must offer some tools then. A way to handle the silence.
He does. He starts with this really perspective-shifting question. What if you weren't broken, just confused?
That's a powerful reframe. Takes the shame right out of it.
Totally. And his approach isn't about just pushing shame away. He actually teaches people to sit in it long enough to learn something from it.
Sit in the shame. That sounds tough.
It is tough, but the idea is to understand it, not just run from it. Then he talks about building new scaffolding in the space semaglutide opens, and he breaks that down. He talks about needing framework, identity, ritual, language.
Framework, identity, ritual, language. Okay, so it's about rebuilding something internal.
Precisely. The goal, he says, is to rewrite the story people were too full to finish. He's really clear. Semaglutide isn't the solution to emotional eating. It's the silence that lets you find one.
And it connects us back to identity, right? This idea of identity disconnection.
Yes, exactly. When we lose track of who we are, food becomes a substitute. It fills a void that isn't actually about hunger.
So it's less about white-knuckling it with discipline.
Much less. It's about finding alignment, not just discipline. He says, you don't hold on to weight loss with discipline. You hold on to it with alignment. You have to replace the underlying story, not just the snack you're reaching for. It's fundamental.
That idea you mentioned earlier about setbacks being predictable, not shameful, that feels like a huge relief for anyone who's struggled.
It really is a game changer. And his perspective on cravings coming back, he doesn't see it as failure.
What does he see it as?
Memory. He says it's not weakness, it's memory. A neural path lit up, asking if it still mattered.
Wow, like an echo.
Kind of. And he uses this great analogy Weight loss isn't a straight line down. It's more like a spiral staircase. You might feel like you're covering the same ground.
But you're still moving up.
You're still climbing, exactly. And plateaus. That's just your body catching up. Your metabolism may be asking for grace.
So the body changes quickly, but the mind,
Yeah.
the identity, takes longer.
That's the core message. Your body changes fast. Your identity takes time to catch up. So a setback isn't proof the drug failed or you failed.
It's a sign the internal story needs an update.
Yes. It's a signal, an invitation, really, to ask yourself those deeper questions. What am I feeling right now? What do I actually need? Who am I becoming?
Those questions become your guide in that quiet space.
They're the compass, yeah. Guiding you towards understanding yourself better beyond the food.
Okay, so wrapping this up, semaglutide, these kinds of drugs, they aren't just about losing weight. They can be, as Hollis calls it, a miracle pause,
A pause.
an invitation to look past the scale, right? To dig into that emotional hunger, that sense of identity. It gives you the space to finally see what was maybe driving things all along.
Absolutely. And maybe the question for you listening is, what are you truly hungry for? If food noise quiets down, what else comes up? What needs attention or support in your life? The answers could be really revealing.
And we'll leave you with this final thought from Dan Hollis. Healing this deeper hunger, it takes empathy, not judgment, awareness, not rules, and curiosity, not punishment. When the cravings stop, maybe that's when the truth really begins.